Hello YouTube, Grindog Chef here. This is Escape from Tarkov. There has recently been a big update for the game, putting it into an open beta compared to the closed beta and the alpha before that. I personally purchased this game in alpha, I purchased the standard edition, and recently with this new update I've upgraded to the Edge of Darkness limited edition version because I do play the game quite a bit and I really enjoy it. So I took a little bit of a break, so all of my levels for my traders and stuff like that are a bit down, but we'll get into that later. What this is a very simple, very basic introduction to the game for anyone that hasn't previously played before, someone that's played but didn't really understand what was happening, or someone that isn't sure what they're buying. So hopefully this video will sum all of that up for you. So to start off with, this game is a very, very realistic first-person survival shooter. The main aspect of it is that it's a little bit open world. You're playing against real players and AI, and some players can disguise themselves as AI as well, but we'll talk about that again. It will be quite a long video, guys. There's a lot to talk about. It's a very complex game. However, it is really need-to-know stuff if you are a beginner. So you have these certain characters that you can play as. So everyone has a character, and this character will never die. If they die in the world, you come back out, you've still got your character, he's okay. But let's say we have a couple helmets and guns and stuff like that, magazines, anything you bring in to the live world that you're going to be playing in as. If you die, then you will lose whatever you have brought in. So if I bring in a gun to a world, a pistol, and just a pistol, and then I get killed before I can extract and successfully get anything I got in the world out, and I die, I will lose whatever I have on me. So hopefully that makes sense to some people. If it doesn't, I'll try and explain it a different way again. So we go into a world, a totally free world with players and AI, buildings, loot, a bit like PUBG, but a little bit scaled down and smaller. And you can take that loot and you can bring stuff in from your stash, which is like your loot at home, which is all safe. Anything that is in the world, if you do not manage to extract, then you will lose it entirely. So whatever you extract, you bring home to your stash. Whatever you die with, you lose if it gets looted and you haven't insured it and stuff like that. But we'll go into a bit more detail later. So first of all, trading. Anyone that's bought the game, you get chucked in at the deep end, and that's what there's so many tutorials out there for, and you really will need to watch them, and hopefully this one will help you as well, because it is a very basic one that I'm going to provide you here today. So there are different traders and they all do different things. For example, Pavel here, Prapor, as he's also known as, is he mainly sells in Russian weapons and munitions. So different types of ammos. For the 5.56 by the 4.5, for example, will go into an M16, which is an American weapon. But he just also sell a couple of more Eastern weapons, a couple of AKUs, a couple of AK-7Ns, and stuff like that. And he doesn't have a lot here at all now, and I'll tell you why in a bit. This woman here, the therapist, she sells medications, maps, little trivial things that will keep you alive and help you out, but will not necessarily enable you to kill somebody. So for example, a couple of medkits, painkillers, different maps here for different areas that you can spawn, bandages, water, which you'll need as well, food. If you're going in for a long time, you're going to need water and food, guys. Okay, also here we go, we have Fence. We'll come back to him at the end because he's a bit more complicated. Here is Skier. Skier sells, again, he's mainly the weapons guy. So Prapor, he sells a couple of weapons, but mainly munitions. Now, Skier is mainly a weapon guy. He sells a lot of Russian weapons, a lot of SKSs, which are rifles, all the way down to shotguns, all the way to the middle of AK-47s. Obviously, himself, he'll sell a few things, a little trivial things, such like he'll sell an SKS magazine, and a couple of bullets as well, different types of bullets, shotgun shells, and a few vests and backpacks, which are used as storage, guys. So now we go down to Peacekeeper, who works for the UN, and he sells a lot of Western stuff. He sells a lot of update, modernized weapons and backpacks and rigs. He sells in dollars. So as you can see over here, guys, we have money. This is rubles, and that is the main currency in the game. You also have euros, and you also have dollars. Now, don't worry if you don't have any dollars or euros, because here you go, dollars right there. And for example, if I wanted to buy $1, it'd cost me 95 rubles. So I would just fill that item, press deal, and I have an extra dollar, for example, there, as you just see go up. And it's actually gone all the way up there, the silly thing, rather than just going into my dollars. I will leave it there for now. Yeah, so he deals in dollars because he's American more than anything else, and the only thing that he'll sell for rubles is dollars. So it's not hard to get dollars. The conversion rates, they won't rip you off or anything like that. It all works out pretty much perfect conversion rates, and you can buy MP5s and a bit more higher tech, higher equipment type of things, not necessarily better things, just a bit more modernized, certain attachments, and that's mainly what he sells. So he's more your American trader, if I can say that. Now you've got Sergi at the bottom, the mechanic. You want to skip Sergi, okay? He's a bit of if you're like the pro player that has everything and you just going out and getting all this amazing stuff, he trades for things. So as you can see here, 0.2 Bitcoin. Now that's not real Bitcoin, don't worry. You can find physical pieces of Bitcoin around the maps. They are one of the rarest items in the game. So don't just go out and expect, oh, I'm going to get a couple of Bitcoin and get this weapon. It's not going to happen like that, guys. I've only ever accumulated 2 pieces of physical Bitcoin, and that's from killing a player that actually fell off a cliff, and I had to go down the cliff and get the Bitcoin extracted straight away. And I sort of wasted, I sold it rather than spending it here with the mechanic. So you want to sort of skip him until you get to the more advanced guides. When you're ready, then you can watch more advanced guides and more advanced currency guides and stuff like that. But for a basic beginner stuff, you need to skip the mechanic entirely. Now, you might be looking at my inventory when I click on someone thinking, you've got a lot of weapons and these guys obviously aren't selling them. What's going on there? So you start off, if you have the standard edition, with 300,000 rubles, and I think that is it. I don't think you get any dollars or anything like that. Now, as you can see here, you have a current attitude, which is 1, and you have a next loyalty level, which is 2. Now, for this, you need to tick 3 boxes. You need to get the level correctly. So I'm currently at level 8 because the update has just come out, so everything reset, and that includes your money or your weapons. So I'm going to lose everything when the next big update comes out, and it's going to reset. Because if a player goes in and just loses over and over and over again and loses the whole inventory, it can really put a strain on the game. But there are contingencies for that, which we'll talk about later. So you need to get to level 10. I'm currently level 8, so I'm not too far off. That's only like 2 or 3 games, to be honest. And that'll unlock level 2. You also need to have some good standing with them. Don't worry about that. As long as you're spending money with them, doing their tasks, and selling them items, then you will be okay, and your standing will be fine. So don't worry about standing at all. Just play the game, and the game will reward you with standing with each person. Now, also, here we go. So it says spent here. You need to spend 400,000 rubles for your standing to go up as well. After all them 3 boxes are ticked, it will automatically level you up to the next loyalty level, unlocking more weapons, attachments, munitions, ammo, all of it. It will unlock a little bit of what they specialise in more. Now, I've been the max loyalty level quite a few times. There are 4. There's 1, 2, 3, and then prestige level. I've been prestige every single update so far, and that's what I'll be working for later tonight as well, just getting myself a little bit higher. And I can't actually tell you what they unlock, because with each update it changes drastically. Like, the developers, they're trying things, they're adding things to the game all the time, and that is really good, and I really enjoy that. And every other player that plays this game will tell you the same thing. It's really good how they're doing it. So don't worry about not knowing, because the stuff will always be better. You're not going to level up next loyalty and then it just be trash. It will be useful, it'll be better than the stuff that you've already got, etc, etc. So there are 4 loyalty levels, the last one being prestige, and you need to get to the level required, the standing required, and you need to spend a certain amount of money with them. Now, you can also sell people. things as well. For example, this SKS that's quite modded out, that I modded myself actually, is worth 57,773 rubles. If I sold that, that would count towards the money spent. So it's a both way. It's however much money you receive or give to that person, it counts and builds up to the 400k. So I could sell a couple of weapons now, get to 400,000 quite easily, and then just play 2 raids, 3 raids, and get to level 10, and I will be quite comfortable, and I'll have unlocked the next loyalty level, which I'm going to do later today. So that's how you level up loyalty levels. So as we've discussed, this guy, Pavor, he does munitions mainly. There will be a couple of weapons there, but mainly ammunition for your weapons in mass varieties, and it'll all depend on what you want to be doing. So for example, they're FMJ bullets, or they're piercing bullets, or there's normal bullets, there's hunting rounds. It all depends on price, how much money you have, how much you can afford, and it all goes into the different types of magazines and weapons, which we're going to go over a little bit later. I did say it was a complicated game, guys, and we're only scratching the surface here, but don't let that put you off, because when you know what you're doing, like a lot of people do nowadays or after watching a tutorial, it really does help. And there are websites that I'll link down below as well that will give you all this information, so you can keep coming back to it rather than rewatching a video or trying to find a specific thing. So don't worry about that. So this the therapist sells medication, mainly water and food. We've got Skier, your main guy for Russian weapons, or foreign weapons. You've got your US weaponry here, your Western weaponry, and then you've got the mechanic, who's your high-end business, which I even skip, and I'm quite an advanced player. I don't go out looking for Bitcoin. I entirely skip this guy. He's just expensive, and I mean, I don't see much of a deal with it. Right, now fence. So you might think, how have you got so much stuff? There was a bit of a glitch with this update where everyone started max prestige level anyway, and because I had so much money, because I have the limited darkness edition that I have, because you start with a little bit more money if you buy that edition, a couple more guns and perks and stuff like that. But that's not pay to win, don't worry, we'll cover that later as well. So this guy here, he sells a little bit of anything and everything. So as you can see, there's a timer, and that is the time it takes for everyone's stock to refresh. Now everyone's stock refreshes, so as you can see here, you've got how much it costs, and then you've got a quantity. So in the bottom right hand side, there's a quantity, and that is how many they've got left. So if I bought the last 7 of his salmon, then no other player at all, until that time runs out, will be able to see or buy that salmon if they're looking at it now. Same with the hats. I could buy 22 hats. I wouldn't, but I could do, theoretically. Now Skier, he's a guy that rips you off a little bit. If you can't find anything to sell, you need to get rid of a couple of things, but no one wants to buy it off you. He will buy it. He will just lower the price a significant amount compared to what someone else would give it you, but they're refusing to buy it off you, so he will buy it off you instead. He's like the black market guy, the underground guy. He also sells higher level stuff. So let's say you're absolutely loaded on the game. I've already got up to about 1.2 million before this update, and it's not too hard to actually do it as long as you know where you're looking. And there's going to be a couple of videos on this game, to be honest, because it's a huge game, and I can't just cram everything into one quickly, because you won't understand what's going on. So I'm really taking my time with it, guys. And also, I'll be streaming a little bit of it on YouTube as well. So we've got 12 gauge shotguns here. You won't be able to buy this 12 gauge with the attachments that it's already got on from Skier already. It'll come with a flashlight there. Looks like it's got a unique pump as well, which is quite nice. And it's got a nice book stock rather than just a little tabby no stock. And it's just like horribleness. Oh, sorry about that. Let's go back to him. And he sells a little, I mean, look at that. The remedy, like, you won't be able to get that until prestige level with Peacekeeper. Now, Peacekeeper deals in dollars, so it's a lot harder to get higher level, but because he deals in dollars, and dollars are worth a little bit more, and you still need to get $400,000, for example, with him. So you'll never be able to buy this from him unless you get max prestige, and even then, it might not come with the attachments that Fence is offering you at either. Like, this is some good stuff right here. This is actually quite a rare item, and that's why the price is so excessive. So for example, that price is 341,000 rubles. yes, you're like, well, you could buy that. I could. You're right. I could buy that. And anyone with the standard edition who starts with 300,000, they could buy that after a couple of raids. Now, what I need to make imperative is when you go into a raid, whatever you bring with you, you're putting on the line to lose if you die at all. If you die, if you bleed out, if you dehydrate, if you anything, everything's deadly. It's like a real life simulator, but in a harsh Russian environment with everything trying to kill you. That's the best way I can put it. So you could buy this technically after a couple of raids if you get 40k, you know, go out quickly. But then you could have possibly just wasted everything, because it only takes one guy behind you and an unaware player who's chatting with his mates and stuff like that, and he can pop you in the back of the head, walk up to you, take your shit, and he can extract, and that's gone then. If you don't insure something like this, and I'd never insure something like this, because if someone kills me, they're going to take this. This is a prime weapon, and insurance costs a lot of money. We'll talk about insurance a little bit later before we jump into a bit of combat maybe. Also here we've got the AKM. I think I've got one of these. Yes, I've got two of these AKMs right here. Mine's a little bit... No, that's identical, and that's worth 200,000. But he's only going to buy one off me for 77,000. This way he's a bit of a dodgy character. He'll always lower the price, and everything he sells, it'll be a little bit higher. But it's for them people that have the money and don't have the time or the care to grind, which is fair enough. Cases, different things that you can buy, lots and lots of nice, cool items that you can get from him. And you can get things that aren't too expensive either. They'll be a bit more expensive than buying them off Skier, but then again, if you think about, if you're not going to work to prestige your level with Skier, then this might work out roughly not too bad, because you need to spend 400,000 rubles to prestige yourself with Skier, and then you'd unlock a weapon like this but not modded out, and then you'd have to maybe upgrade again to get the correct modifications. So it all depends on your view of it, and if you're dedicated to upgrading Skier, who's the Russian weapon guy, then upgrade. Then if you're not dedicated, then maybe buying something off Fence, if it was the right item at the right price, would be an alright idea, as long as you weren't doing it every time and you're quite confident in your gaming ability on this game. But as a beginner, I highly recommend skipping Fence, unless you need little trivial things, unless you need like a key or a map, but you can get them, actually no, ignore that, sorry, a key or maybe a modification that would really help you in game, because they're not super expensive compared to leveling your way all the way up and not having a sight for the whole game. So Fence, stay on the edge of caution, that's what I'm trying to tell you there, guys. And a lot of people will just say, on their beginner tutorial, they'll just click on it and go, right, he's a guy that will rip you off, try and stay away from him, but if you have the money, then spend the money. I'm trying to go into a lot of detail here, because this is a very daunting game for players that are brand new. I can't stress that enough. It took me a long time, a lot of tutorials, a lot of finding out websites, which is all going to be linked down below for you guys as well, because I don't think it's fair for certain people to buy a full price game that's in beta and then, you know, not enjoy it because they don't know what they're doing in it, which is fair enough. I had no clue for the first month or so what I was doing. Let's go a bit into characters. That's trading. That's how trading works, guys. You can always backtrack to that section of the video. That's how trading is, and that is done now. Okay, let's move on to inventory. So, a couple of things. One, you guys will have, if you buy the standard edition of the game, you'll have an alpha pouch or an alpha container. So this little gamma container that I've got here, your alpha pouch would be the size of this. It would be 2x2, so it would be a little bit smaller. Mine's 3x3. And what this is quite a useful item. So if you find money in game, which only takes up one block, like painkillers, or you find a map, and for example, like that, and you put in your gamma container, if you die, no one, no matter what they are, no matter what they have, no matter who they are, no one can go inside your gamma container at all. It's not big enough to fit anything like, you know, a big rifle. Even an SMG struggles to get in there. I mean, I could put this SMG in here, but that's taking up a lot of space for me, for my gamma container. Use it for items that you're going to need. For example, this is a Grizzly medical kit, and it's one of the highest prestige items on the medical woman, on the therapist, And what it is it's a huge item that heals everything on you. It does radiation, it does bleeding, damage, fractures, breaks. It heals you up really well. So I put this in here because I can use it in my gamma container without taking it out, and it stays in there. So if I'm mid-use and then someone kills me, they're not stealing my big med kit. I also have a map here because you can access the map again without taking it out of the actual gamma container, because it's just in a tab on your inventory. So I have a map there as well. I just chucked these painkillers in here because I didn't really want to put painkillers down there on their own. Another thing to say, with my edition of the game, I get a bit of a bigger inventory space as well. There's not a reason that this should affect in-game play at all, by the way, guys. Me spending the excessive amount of money that I did for this game does not mean I will beat you necessarily. One, sneak up behind me, I'm dead. You've killed me, you've got me. I could have full flat jacket armor on, nice big helmet. You could have an AK, bare, 30 rounds of hunting ammunition. If you get right behind me and put 10 rounds in the back of my head, I'm dead. If you destroy my helmet, 1 round to the head, I'm gone. So it's no reason why I should be able to beat one of you guys, for example, right at the beginning. You just need to know where to go, how to work the game, and that will all come to you naturally. And there are also videos, and probably videos that I'm going to make, helping you of that as well. So my inventory is a little bit bigger. Your inventory will come to about here, maybe a little bit lower up to the top there. My inventory goes quite far down. Now, I have all this stuff, and you might think, wow, I need to get this edition of the game, all of this. I need to buy all this stuff, otherwise I'm not going to have enough space. That's not true. I store a couple of things in backpacks. Okay, I store just a few things in backpacks, but most of my stuff is bare. So, for example, all these magazines could have gone in these 3 AVS rigs. Backpacks, all this ammunition could go into a backpack. The only thing I really use for storage is body armor. Takes up quite a bit of space. I put that into my tri-zips, and which is the biggest backpack you can get, and my weapon attachments and a couple of grenades go into my case that I get because I was an alpha player in the game, and you can redeem that on the website if you were an alpha buyer as well and you don't realise. You can redeem that and 2 very nice weapons, which I actually have 2 of each because I killed somebody by, you know, yeah. But this is your inventory. So it's quite simple how an inventory works. You guys know that everything takes up a certain amount of slots. You slip it in there, you smack it in there, boom, done. And whatever is in here is safe. Whatever's in your stash is safe. No one can get to it at all, ever. Okay? Whatever is in your gamma container, known as your pouch, that is entirely safe, no matter what it is, no matter what it is at all. So if you found a really nice suppressed pistol, that could go in there because that's, you know, you put a suppressor on that and it's 2 spaces still. For example, my Glock 17, that's got a big... I had a Glock with a sight on it. I don't know where that's gone. That's ran away from me. But yeah, my Glock 17, that can go in there as well. There's many things that can be, you know, used to save space, like backpacks, rigs, vests. All of it can be used to save space. So don't worry about the space, guys. This game is not pay to win either, I'd like to say that. People have misconstrued it as pay to win because, for example, at the start of the game, when it all resets and everyone gets their money back, yes, I get an extra 100,000 rubles. That doesn't mean it's pay to win because I just get an extra little bit of money. That'll be spent on ammunition within the first day, 100,000 rubles, that'll all be on ammunition. So it's not like I'm going out and getting this big ass sniper rifle, sitting on a cliff 2 miles away and shooting someone in the head, and then just going to them and taking their pistol. It's not pay to win like that at all. We do get a couple of weapons as well, but we don't get anything substantial. I'm not going to be getting this modded out suppressed beast of an M4A1 because I bought a higher edition of the game. I'm not going to get this modded out sniper rifle. I get an AK, I get an AKU, and I get the normal bare sniper rifle, which is like the one on PUBG, but obviously I don't get the scope on it, or anything like that. Totally unmodded. I just get 3 weapons to start with, and I get a couple of pistols as well. I don't get a Glock, I just get a couple of these, a couple of them, and 2 of them, I think. And it's not really anything substantial to make me better at the game than you guys. Anyway, enough of a rant on how it's not pay to win. You'll just have to trust me on that, and I'm sure many people will agree with me as well in the comments down below or on other videos. So, how does it work, you might ask? For example, this AK-47 here, it's got a little bit of a sight on it. I just added a sight. So all you have to do is drag it across and put it there. So that is now on my character for when I go into the round, into the next raid. Now, don't worry, I can take it back out. So let's say you put it in like that. You can take it back out, back into your stash before you go into the raid. The only time it becomes fixed on you is when it's when you're actually physically in the raid playing the game. So you don't have to worry about, oh shit, I just put the wrong body armor on. You can just take it back off and switch it. Okay. So how much can you carry into a game? Well, that depends how much storage you have. So I'm going to, for example, I'm going to have a little loadout because we might have a play around later. And what I'm going to do, yes, I have all this nice equipment as well from my previous raids, but it's very unlikely that right now as a beginner you're going to see something like that or get something like that straight away. So I'm going to use basic equipment. I'm going to use all this AK is a perfectly normal, perfectly unmodded AK. All I've done is put a sight on it, and I'll tell you how to do that later as well. So I'm just going to bring that in there, and we'd bring a nice PM pistol here, and then you'd want a little bit of body armor as well, which if I can find where it is, and you just, this is soft armor. It's one of the most common pieces of armor. It's nothing special. This is all stuff that you guys can get within the first hour of playing the game. A tactical rig, so I'm going to use a normal, quite a basic rig there as well. So rigs, what these are for, if you don't know what a rig is, that's absolutely fine. A rig is something that just goes over the top of your armor and your vest and all of that. It's right at the top, and that holds ammo and grenades and stuff. So it makes me change mag really, really easily, and that's the best way I can put it. So I put my mags in here rather than in my backpack, and I can just press R and change my mag. Now if my mag was in my backpack, I can still use it, but I have to physically go into my inventory, click on my weapon, unload the weapon here, as you can see, and then I'd need to go into my backpack, and then I need to click install, and it'd install it back in. So for time, which sometimes you are rushed for, sometimes you're not, sometimes you're absolutely fine. I know people that bring extra mags in their backpack and one in their rig, just for safekeepings, and if they are free they'll just swap it over and take the ammo out. You can also unload the ammo as well. I don't actually know where that has just gone. Unload. I think it might have dropped down here and just filled out some of this, but I can also just, interesting. I think it has just filled out some of them here. So an AK-47 takes PSR and PR and PS and PMS rounds. All the rounds look the same. They all look like this. They just stand for different things. Some are armor piercing, some are normal, some are hunting rounds. It's all a bit different. You don't want to be using these high caliber rounds on an AK because you need something a little bit more accurate with a bit more stopping power for it to actually, you know, hit. But ammunition right now, find something that fits, it'll be absolutely fine. It'll all be in the description down below as well on the websites that I link you. There's my ammo, that's where it went. So yeah, you can easily unload ammo and load it back in again, and that's not an issue at all. And we'll show you in game how you do that as well. So I'm going to take 3 mags in with me on my normal rig, which is a very common rig you guys will be able to get. You guys actually, I think you guys start with a couple of these. I don't think you'll start with this armor, but that's like 5,000 rupees, which isn't much from a trader, so that's fine. This is a very simple helmet. Actually, the helmets you start with might be better than this helmet. This is like a motorcycle helmet. It's only got 25 health. It's not much at all, but I want to be as accurate as I can with the game and how it works. So I'm not going to just stick on an M4A1 with a drum mag, go running in, kill everything and leave, because that's not going to be reflective of your game experience either until you get to that sort of level, which is absolutely fine. And you take a pistol, and you might take a mag for that pistol as well. Where are my pistol magazines? I think they're in here. Yes, they are. And that takes an 8-round mag, which I actually don't have a spare of, because I was going to trade them pistols in. That's fine. What we can do is we can unload that, and that goes there. And that's some of the magazine there in my rig, nice and ready. And this one doesn't have a magazine in it anymore, but I'm not planning on dying, guys, so it should be okay. Now your pockets, they're also fast access, so you don't need to go into your inventory to access them. Fast access, so you can put grenades in there and stuff like that if you have grenades, which not everyone will at the start. You might start off with one simple normal grenade, or you can put it on your rig as well. And that's absolutely fine. So this is roughly what you'd be looking at for a normal setup. A starter setup, very simple, very easy, no work really put involved to getting it. You'd go into a raid, you might kill a scav, which is an AI enemy, and they'd have some of this. Sometimes they even have more than this. I've picked up a couple of these bigger AVS rigs, which are the mostly used rigs in the game, and quite a couple of scavs will have these on them, and they're easy picking scavs. They stand still, they're very juttery, and you can just pop them in the head, take their stuff, and bugger off. Backpack wise, you guys will start with one of these backpacks. I don't actually think that I have a smaller backpack to bring in. I don't, but you guys will start with one of these backpacks anyway. This is a medium-sized backpack. The biggest backpack in the game is the Tri-Zip. The biggest rig in the game is the Alpha. Again, that's got a lot of mags in it. That's for your heavy duty stuff, your heavy duty guys. These are the guys that are a little bit like me now. I was by no means this, not good, but this equipped at the start, and I was not this equipped when I upgraded my edition of the game. I worked for all of this sort of stuff. So everything you see here is heavy armor. So for example, if I was going into a raid for a long time, I would wear this heavy armor, this Alpha rig, because it can carry so much ammo. I'd wear one of these helmets with goggles as well for sun reduction, like glare reduction. That's what goggles do. Everything does something in this game, guys. There's never a useless item, and if there is, you can sell it for money, which helps you gain prestige. So there's no useless items whatsoever in this game. Ammunitions as well. A good tip for any beginner, any player really, if you're watching this as well, is let's say you only have one magazine left. You've not, like here, I've only got one of these magazines. I've only got one SKS magazine. You've got that in your rig, and that takes, let's say you got a spare here, and you've only got one of them. Instead of going out and spending 5,000 rubles on another, if you're tight of money, you can put the ammo in your Alpha container, Alpha pouch, Gamma container, Beta pouch, whatever you've got, with whatever edition you've got. And then, yes, it will take longer. Again, you need to go into your inventory, and then you need to take out the ammo and add the ammo back. But some people do this. It works a dream. I've done it before, because the ammo is then safe. If you die and you lose your mag, the ammo is safe, and then you can buy another mag. And you can unload that ammo and put that ammo in straight away, and that is how quick it will be in game as well. Literally click, unload, drag up, you're back in the game, your mag's full, put it back in your gun, and you're off to go. So when you get custom and used to the game, rigs are always important for that quick swap, especially when you've got a group of 4 people coming at you. You're going to need a rig for sure, but if you're going in solo, you want to be a bit sneaky, you want to stay out of trouble, then this tactic also works quite well. Anyway, that's the sort of lineup that I'd say bring. As a starting player, you won't have many weapons either, so bring one weapon, because if you kill a scav, they're going to have a weapon. You can put that on your back there. You can carry 2 weapons into battle. I don't really see the point going in fully decked with 2 weapons, unless you're looking for valuables for your backpack, things to sell. And players are just a nuisance, so you're going in to kill them to get valuable things like statues, like little lion statues that are worth 50,000 rubles, or money that scavs carry. Like, you can go as a bit of an executioner, to be honest, go and kill people, see what they've got, leave their stuff if it's not good enough. But also bigger backpacks can carry bigger things, not like that though. So not like that either. Great example there, Grin. There you go. So an MP5, you can carry 2 MP5s in a MP5s in a backpack. So that's something else that's quite useful. In these bigger backpacks, in these tri-zips, I can fit, you know, big weapons in here. I could go into a raid with this backpack, kill 3 players, take 3 of their weapons. But that is no easy challenge whatsoever, because people with them weapons, they're the people that are dangerous, the people that know what they're doing. You can't get this stuff just by buying a better edition. I can't stress enough how it's not a pay-to-win game. All it is, it's just very daunting on a new player. It's very brutal. It's very hard to get into, and that's what these tutorials here are for, you guys. So, weapon modification as well. Now obviously for weapon modification you need the weapon and you need the correct modifications for it. But unlike most games, this game goes a little bit more into detail about how weapon modding works, which makes sense, it's all reality. So however you would actually put a holographic scope onto an AK-47 in real life, you would have to copy that in this game. There's not like a little game or anything like that, but for example, many games, if not any game, won't have, when this loads up, you won't need a mount for the for the holographic sight in many games. You won't need this rail here to be able to put on a laser sight and a flashlight. You won't need I don't actually need this stock at all, but you need different variants, little pieces to put onto the stock, and it's not hard to do. You just go in and click it if you get the right stuff. Now, modding is very trial and error in this game. You're going to waste a little bit of money. I've wasted a little bit of money. Sometimes you might waste a lot of money. I've done that before as well, thinking, oh, here's an AK. Okay, here's an AK. Let's just buy the holographic sight from Fence or Trader, because I'm not that level yet, and waste a load of money. I've got a holographic sight, but I yet am to add the holo sight to this weapon, because you need to mount as well. And this is all very complicated, but there is an Escape from Tarkov wiki. Now, how the wiki works is very simple. It will be linked down below. It's a wiki, and it is one of the greatest, most easiest to use wikis I've ever found in my life. Search bar at the top right hand corner. All you gotta do is you see the AKS-74U. You type in AKS-74U. You click on it. The first thing that comes up is a picture of the gun expanded with every attachment leading in little diagrams of what you need for this, what you need for that, how, if you have this, what can you do to get the better version. And it's very simple, very easy, so you know exactly what you're looking for. All the names of the stuff is on there. You can zoom into it. So modding weapons, the only thing that you need to know is before you buy something for $60,000, like a holographic sight, or 6,000 rupees more like for a holographic sight, go onto the wiki and check your gun could have a holographic sight. Don't just buy it and then keep hold of it for a gun that eventually will be able to take a holographic sight. Make sure you know what you're modding. It's still going to be trial and error, guys. It's still going to be a bit painful. It is for me. It's for everybody. I've bought so many attachments that just don't work as well. Like for example, I received a Glock after going into a game, and I know that a couple of people sell some Glock stuff, so I went straight in without having a look at my weapon, without having a look at all, and I bought these Glock pieces here. I bought this Glock slide. I think I actually sold the other thing. I bought a Glock handle and a Glock trigger. Okay, now I didn't realise that when I got this weapon, you can inspect it. At the bottom is everything your weapon has, everything your weapon can have here. And I bought this, the Glock 19x9, the barrel, and I bought the slide spare, which you've just seen. I'll show you again. I didn't realise they already had them on. I assumed that it'd be an upgraded slide, a bigger version, something to make my gun a bit meatier, a bit chunkier, a pistol. And this here, the G17 9x9, that's the barrel, that's the base barrel for a Glock and the base slide for a Glock. So I bought these thinking it'd be an upgrade straight away without looking at the wiki, and I'm quite an experienced player now, and they obviously don't fit because they've already got them pieces on. So what I bought are two components for a gun that I can't actually put on to my gun because they're already on there. So I'm keeping hold of them because I'm going to build my own Glock when I see the parts pop up and when I see the parts around the maps. But you never want to buy something and resell it either, because it'll always be at around half the price that you bought it at. Everyone will rip you off in that sense. You won't be able to buy something in dollars, sell it for more in rupees. It doesn't work like that, otherwise everyone will be a millionaire within the first day of the game. It'd be all over YouTube, it'd be in every tutorial. It doesn't work like that. The conversion rates for money, it's more just to tell you what sort of deal you're dealing with. Like, for example, if you think dollars, you're not going to be buying AK in dollars, are you, from an American guy? You're going to be spending dollars on an MP5, an M4A1. Rupees, you're going to be spending on AKs, you know, ammunition, stuff like that. So just remember that if you buy something, don't panic if it doesn't work. Go onto the wiki and just research what you're buying, okay? That is imperative, and I can't stress it enough at all. There's a lot you can do with a Glock as well. That's why I got a bit excited when I found one, because you can add extra muzzles, get suppressors, sights, underbarrels, drum mags. You can get switches to make it fully automatic. There's some dirty things that you can do with the Glock. Practically make it into a submachine gun before. There's my Glock with the sight on it that I was telling you guys about earlier. So I had to buy this as well. That's the G-Base. That costs about 50,000 rupees, I think, that piece of equipment there. And then I had to buy the sight, which is about 25,000 rupees, which is a bit odd, I think, but they are quite rare items, and they had to be bought from Fence because I'm not the right prestige yet since the update came out. What else can I really tell you guys? The wiki will also provide, on the diagram, it will tell you in the bottom right hand corner what ammo the gun takes, all the different variants. So for example, it'll tell you, it won't just say give you this picture, it'll tell you PRS, it'll also tell you PS, it'll also tell you different types of PS, all of it. It'll tell you what you're buying, it'll tell you everything you need, and that is the website I tab out pretty much every time I go into trading. I tab out onto that website to make sure I'm buying the right stuff, make sure I'm leveling the right people, and make sure I'm doing the right things. Now, because this game is so realistic, you can drop in, and I'll show you this now. When it loads, that is another thing, guys. It takes a while to load, but that's okay. So in the beta so far, they've got factory, woods, customs, and shoreline 4 maps that you can play as. Now, factories are the small, your small free-for-all, run around, get in, kill someone, get the stuff, get out. It is very quick. It is, you're not going to need water, you're not going to need food until you're an advanced player. You can hold a camping spot for literally an hour. You're going to want to get in and get out, and the players that you find in there, some of them will be absolutely loaded to the teeth with an M4A1 heavy juggernaut armor, nice big helmet, and they'll be camping this one spot. So you go sprinting around that corner, you're going to be fresh meat for them. Other players will be playing as little weaklings with a pistol, trying to get a drop on a bigger player or just even a medium player with an AK, and take them, get their shit, and walk out. It's a very dangerous place, factory, and you need to know the map a little bit as well, which is good because you can play offline in this mode with or without enemies, and anything offline that you bring in, you won't lose. Anything you take out, you won't keep them. So it's really to learn maps, get a little bit better at combat, get your graphics right. It's a very good tester, and I'm really, really happy that they implemented that in the game, and that's really simple to do as well. So I click on factory, for example, I click next. It does like to have a bit of a stutter. Because I have a map, that's the map. And I just enable offline mode. And if you want, guys, just pause the video here, or if you've already read it, and that is what it does. That's what offline mode is. That's how it works. Okay, so different maps mean different things. If you have a map and you're playing as your PMC, which is your main character, I'll go into a scav in a minute. If you're playing as a PMC, which is your main character, you have a map on you. If you know how to read a map, that's great. But even if you don't and you have the map with you, oh, I think there's a bit of an alarm going off. There is, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm going to keep going. We will just wait. Okay, 5 minutes later, and we are good, and the alarm stopped. I'm sorry if that was, you know, painful for anyone. I don't even know if you guys heard it. We had an alarm go off downstairs just because of the cooking. Anyway, so you've got factory, you've got woods, which is a bit of an unplayed map, to be honest. It's not massively played. It's a bit of a known map to me as well. I don't really play it. You've got customs, which is, if you watch a stream, they're more than likely going to be on factory or customs. Customs is big, it's open, it's very diverse. You've got power plants, you've got schools, you've got open fields, and it's a big place to go. You've got bridges, you've got camping spots. It's good for snipers, it's good for shotguns. It all depends your game style, how much you know the map, and what it's working at. Shoreline is also quite a large map. It's not so much round and big rather than long. You've got a couple of channels that you go down Shoreline, and it's a good map for valuables as well if you actually manage to make it into the pier shoreline and not get camped or killed by a scav or someone like that. And it's got a couple of good safes, which I'll show you in a different video if this one has good reviews. Hopefully it will, but I'm going to be streaming and putting Tarkov videos up on my channel, so I'm just going to be cramming it down your throats really, guys. I'm very sorry about that one. Factory, woods, customs, and shoreline. Now you might think, wow, this game's been out for a while, and again, you said they were releasing updates all the time. Why are the other maps not open? To start with, on the plans and on the wiki and on the official website, they tell you what's coming out next. They tell you what updates coming, when it's all coming out. They haven't released actual dates for the next map, but they're releasing dates for the next update and such and such and such. So you don't have to worry about that, guys. Also, we didn't have woods or shoreline before. We only had factory and customs, I believe, right at the start. Now this 25 minutes here, or this 50 minutes, or this 25, or this 35, this is roughly, I believe, this is roughly the time that is spent in the area. There's no max time that can be spent in an area. You can, if you go in with pure food and water, you can hide in a corner for the whole game and just eat away and live for days and extract. I don't see the point in that, but theoretically you could. There's no max time that you can be in a map. The difficulties, again, daunting, insane, normal. I mean, they're changing all the time. Factory was hard yesterday, and everything else was insane, and now they're normal apparently. Don't pay too much attention to that. You know the map. If you know the map, you can play the game quite well. And again, there's going to be a link to an IGN website directly to the different maps and all the exits and how to get there as well, and that's a really good site. That's literally, if you select the right map, and they're all just in a little list, you just click on it, you click on factory, the factory map comes up, shoreline 1 comes up, so it's really good. And if you have a second monitor, that'd be very useful as well. Unfortunately, I don't. Somehow I do not have a second monitor, and I don't know why. The specs for this game are not too ridiculous. You can look them up online. I can even they'll probably be on the wiki or the main, though they definitely are on the main website, so, and that link will be down below as well. They're not too bad at all. i3, i5, a DirectX 11 graphics video card. They don't actually have a graphics card listed. 8 gig of RAM and 8 gig of space, I believe. So as long as you have a gaming computer, you can play this game, and it doesn't have to be anything insane. I've got a couple of friends with like 940s, 960s, GTXs, GTs, and they can all play the game absolutely perfectly fine. On medium settings, I'm playing it on the highest settings possible. I've made my NVIDIA, as I've said earlier at the start of the video, I've made my NVIDIA recognize the game. I also want to say that NVIDIA is bringing Tarkov to their thing. It says coming soon on the NVIDIA website, so it will all be optimized fully and properly, not self-optimized like I've done, but fully optimized 100% on NVIDIA for any NVIDIA graphics card, which I'm going to guess a lot of people do. Unless you have AMD, then unfortunately you picked wrong in my opinion, guys. But that's practically the tutorial, ladies and gentlemen. There's not really much else to go into. There's scavs. So scavs are the civilians in the game. So you have PMCs, which are either USEC or Bear, the American or the Russian nation. Now, whichever, you get to select one at the beginning of the game. It's a total novelty. It's whoever you want to play as. There's no bonuses with anything. There's no other weapons for either side. There's no perks for either side. There's no upgrade for absolutely anything. It's a pure novelty, pure customization for the voice and, you know, stuff like that. It doesn't matter at all. In the trailers, the Americans have loads of American weapons and the Russians have loads of Russian weapons, and it's a bit of a role play. That it's not real. The gameplay in the trailers are real. That is incredible stuff. That's how the game looks, and it is absolutely gorgeous, but you just need to get it optimized correctly with the video that I sent in the link down below. But you can also play as a scav as well. So there are American Russians and there are scavs. So there's USEC, which is America, Bear, which is Russia, and they're the two factions. They're your main character, okay? That's where you bring in your equipment from your stash, you go into the world, you bring out or you lose whatever is in your stash. A scav gets a random set of equipment right now, and that's what my scav's going to have. So he's going to have a vest, which is like a really shitty rig. He's going to have the white body armor. It glitches through a little bit, yeah, I know. The white body, they're only in beta, give them a break. The white body armor, which is the weakest body armor in the game as far as I know, and I'm pretty sure I know. And a pistol. You can get scavs with ATG vests and an AK-47. You can get scavs with nothing and an AK. You can get scavs with built-up armor and a pistol or a knife. It's totally randomized, 100% randomized. A scav is you get dropped into the map. You still get to select your map. I'll show you there. Still get to select whatever map you want. and that's only because I have a map that I can see this here, but I don't get the map in the game as the scav. In the game, I do not have a map. Scavs, you have nothing of your own at all. Because I have a map in my inventory, for some reason I think it will get patched, or unless they mean to do it, it just shows me, you know, where the gates are and stuff, and it just shows me the map. Doesn't really help too much, and it says random entry point. Now, if I was going in on my PMC character on Shoreline with the Shoreline map, I get to select my spawn. And it's quite useful, but not imperative at all. Put it in your off container, your gamma pouch, your beta pouch, whatever you want to call it, whatever one you've got, and it will stay there forever. You can use it as much as you want, and no one can loot it if you die, which is why my big Grizzly medical kit, which is the best medical kit you can get, I think, in the game so far, is in my pouch, because I can use it in the pouch, and no one can rob it from me whilst I'm healing up. So if I die later on, I'm going to come out with my pouch nice and healed up. Yes, the quantity will overload because I will have used it, and eventually it will run out and I'll have to get rid of it, which is a shame, but it's just, you know, that's the way of life. Things run out, things end, things die. Anyway, a scav. So let's say you go on a couple of raids. It's not going too well for you. You're thinking, oh god, I don't want to lose all my equipment. So you might think, right guys, let's go into a scav. You can play with friends as well, up to 5 players in your main character, 5 friends, so you and 4 others as your main character working as a full squad, or you can go in as 4 scavs. Now I don't really know why it's 5-4. Scavs are less superior, yeah, I don't really know why that is, but 4 scavs or 5 friends can go in. You can go in solo. Many people play solo. It's actually preferred to play solo because of the realism. There's no HUD, there's no indicator saying he's your buddy. There's no map unless you have it in your inventory. You have to go in and look at it. There's no indicators whatsoever, and you'll see if you watch any gameplay of the game, which you literally type in Escape from Tarkov gameplay. Whatever you watch, that is what the game looks like. It looks like a cinematic trailer all the way through, and I absolutely love that about this game. So a scav, you go in with random stuff that the game has rewarded you. But if you extract as a scav, you get anything you extract with. You could go in with a scav. I could go in right now with this guy. If I killed a player and took his gun and his equipment and I extracted, I would get that stuff. So let's say you've run out of money, you've run out of equipment, you've absolutely hit bare rock bottom, and you're like, now I've got to wait until the next update comes out. When's that going to be for my game to reset and me get all my stuff back and my money back, and how am I going to do it? Play as a scav. Every 7 minutes you can play as a scav. So I play, and then as a cooldown time, just so you can't just spam in and spam out and just, you know, fill up your inventory with useless crap. It's just 7 minutes, which really you can just sort of spam in and spam out. Now, there's a couple of things about scavs. Scavs gameplay is a little bit different, and the game tells you that when you're loading in. Scavs do not attack each other. So if you are a scav and there's another player that is a scav, he theoretically should not attack you. He more than likely will, because a lot of people don't understand how a scav works. But I've had a couple of people that they'll see me, they can tell instantly I'm a scav. Look at the difference between these two guys. You really can tell that person's a scav. And he looked at me and he quickly like wriggled his mouse up and down, nodding frantically like, look, I'm a player, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm not going to shoot you. And we worked together for the rest of that game, because you can communicate in game, not with microphone, but with like signals, and you can double tap Y and talk to people, and I think it's actually quite cool, quite funny. You can call a guy a pussy if he's hiding and you've got him. If you've got him, you've got him lined up. You can double tap Y, select a phrase, and call him a pussy, telling him to come outside and get you. I found that hilarious, and I've used it quite a bit as well. And sometimes it actually works. Sometimes one of the lines is, "Lay down your weapons and I'll let you pass." No one ever does that. If someone says that, they are not letting you pass. They will just literally shoot you, take your weapons anyway, sell them. So don't listen to random people on the game. But it's not used that much, to be honest. So don't worry, it's not a huge thing. There's not a spam. There's not a community of people in a corner just shouting at each other. So don't worry about that. It's just a bit of a funny, comical feature in my sense. You can flip someone off. Like if you and your mate spawn in, you can literally flip him the bird straight away and then bugger off if you wanted to. But scavs will not attack each other at all. Mainly scavs are AI, so you spawn as a scav, and you just fill one of the AI boots, as to speak. You don't get dropped into the middle of combat, so this guy isn't in right now. You're a fresh spawn, but you are a scav. Scavs don't attack each other unless you attack them. So if I shot an AI scav, then scavs near that guy is going to shoot me. They're going to shoot me, they're going to try and kill me because I'm a traitor. Player scavs, you can often tell who they are. They're a bit more built up. Sometimes you will find that bigger scav, but player scavs are normally a bit more built up. They've killed a couple of people, they've got their stuff, or they've killed other scavs and taken their stuff as well. So be on the caution side of player scavs, but it's not like a false sense. You're gonna know who's who, because a normal scav will be staring at a banister or something like that, and the only way that they'll react is if they see someone or hear something. Then they'll walk quite robotically, go into it because it's in beta at the moment. But you'll see that in future gameplay and in current gameplay, and you'll realise they're not too bad dudes when you're a scav, and you can use them as well. So if someone shoots, other scavs are going to go. And it's a bit like a swarm, but don't worry, 10 guys aren't going to come running over a hill AKs blazing with you when 2 bullets can kill you in this game. They're all gonna go to that sort of area and spread out a little bit. You can use that, and you can like sort of infiltrate yourself in with them, hopefully as well. And the player who's like using a silenced M4 or something, he might try and sneak past that many people because he don't want to. I wouldn't want to fight that many. If I see 6 scavs on a road because I've just killed somebody and they've heard it, I'm not going to try and kill them 6 scavs. I'm just going to sneak around them and get gone. But you can use them as like guard dogs, sort of. They'll start moving, and if one shoots, they are shooting at something, and it's not another scav. You know that they don't attack each other, so they're either shooting at a player scav that's a traitor, or they're shooting at a player, and they're not going to kill them. I guarantee you that the scavs won't kill them. If you go in with nothing in a pistol, a scav will kill you quite easily. 2 shots, you're gone. 1 shot maybe to the heart, you're dead. But if I go in with my guy here, even with basic armor, like what you guys will be starting with, you're gonna be alright against a scav. Just be sensible. Good thing to know, scavs won't leave players alone. They will shoot on sight at players. So scavs are good to each other, unless you traitor. But they're never good to PMCs, which are your main characters, your players. They will shoot on sight at you there. That really, guys, is everything I need to talk about. I do believe. Yeah, that's really it. I just had a little look down into my desk as well, because I actually had a little list, because there's so much to say about this fantastic game. What I can do is I can guarantee you, if you buy this game, that everything I've told you is correct up to now. The next big update, I'll make another video. This is a very simple beginner's guide of how it all works, how the inventory works, how the money works, how traders work, how bringing stuff in and out, how scavs are, and that's really it. Different helmets, different stuff like that. All of this stuff you will get quite easily by just working your way through the game, nice and chilled out. You don't be too worried about money as well. Don't waste it by any means, but don't be too worried about it, because I went in with, what was it? It was like I had 70,000 rupees left. I now have 391,000, and that was after 3 scav raids, because I went in and I got quite lucky. They gave me an AK on one of them, they gave me a Glock on the other, which is like probably the best pistol, and a shotgun but on the next one as well. I didn't extract. When I play as a scav, I play to play as a scav. I hotline myself straight to the important parts of the map, because I know that scavs are going to be there, but they're not going to shoot me because I'm a scav myself. I'm going to loot around. I found a couple of statues, models, stuff that were really valuable, and I just came in, got some valuable stuff, and came out and killed nobody actually in 2 of them, and sold the valuable stuff, because you can carry and do inventory as much as you want. So for example, let's say you've got a pistol mag as a scav and you're fully out of ammo with the pistol, you've still got a shotgun with a couple of shells. If you don't need that pistol mag, which you shouldn't do, then throw away the mag and open up some space. That's an extra slot there for an extra, like, you know, chunk of money, or adhesive glue, or light bulbs, or something like that. Because all of it is sellable, all of it will get your trading up, all of it will contribute to the amount of money you have to spend, even though spending also counts as selling as well. So whatever you buy, whatever you sell to them, it all counts. Don't worry, guys, this game, it is horrible at the start, as in you don't know what you're doing, but hopefully this tutorial will have helped you understand the very, very basics of how simple things work. Look, I've got, these are my stats for this one. I literally started playing a couple of days ago again since the update. I did 11 raids, survived 5, died in 6, max in a row 4, average lifespan 9 minutes because I've been doing factory raids a lot. I've not gone for the big long raids. 1.69 hours online overall lifetime. You know, 27 kills. My KD's 4.5. I've been doing alright for myself, to be honest, and I'm just going to keep going. Run-throughs are where you spawn in, you sprint to the other end of the map. It's there, guys, run-throughs. You spawn in, you sprint to the other end of the map, and you get out with exactly what you got in. Raids are where you take a little bit more time, you kill a couple of people, you take their stuff, you get out. That's really all I can tell you right now in this video, guys. I hope it did help. I know it's been a bit all over the place, but that's simply because I don't write scripts for my videos at all, because I've got a webcam, so I'll be constantly looking down paper, you know, it won't be good. But I know what I'm talking about, I know what it is. If there's any questions that you guys need to ask me, please leave a comment in the description down below. I'll be able to answer them like that. It's okay to leave a comment. Like, if you didn't understand what the traders did, leave a comment and I'll personally talk to you over YouTube and tell you how the traders work. That's totally fine. How the prestige works. This year, this 80 million, 20 million, 500k, this is how much money the traders have, by the way. So it's never going to go down. Don't worry about it. It's a bit of a useless thing to have right now. And the timer, again, if you guys have forgot, is when stock resets. To upgrade your character, there are 4 prestige levels. Each prestige unlocks better, bigger stuff, and you just need to spend money and level up by playing the game. That is very simple. You run out of money, it's quite easy to accumulate money. A gun's worth like 17,500, 17,000, a simple AK, 17 to 22,000 ruples. So you can go in as a scav or go in as a PMC, kill some scavs, get loads of AKs, go out and sell them. Also, there are challenges that the guys can give you under tasks, which you might have seen as well. They're quite simple. You go to an area, you kill 3 guys, you get their shotguns. You can do this in chunks, you don't have to be in one raid. Kill 3 guys, get their shotguns, give the shotguns to the guys, and that'll increase standing and money, obviously, and stuff like that. So I hope this made sense to all people out there. Anything else you want to know, you need to know, that's very basic, because remember, this is for the very starting people of the game, then give me that comment section. Please hit that thumbs up button and that subscribe button down below. There's going to be a bit more Tarkov coming to the channel, and it's going to be mainly a stream as well. Not over on Twitch. I've tried streaming on Twitch a little bit, but I've not really got much luck on that, so I'm going to be streaming on YouTube from now on as well. This is Escape from Tarkov beta up-to-date tutorial, and I hope it all made sense, guys. Make sure you watch up-to-date tutorials because of all the beta versions that are coming out. This was alpha. There's loads of tutorials out there that don't tell you they're in alpha, but they are, and you can tell by the pictures on the traders and stuff like that. They've all changed. This is the most up-to-date video on this release date, and when another one comes out, when another big update comes out, which won't be for a while yet because we've just had one, then I'll make another video up-to-date as well and change the title of this one. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, that subscribe button down below, and stay tuned to more Tarkov and some gameplay as well. See you later, guys.